right, y'all. Now we are going to answer your questions that you have sent in on social media. So let's do what we've got today. Why is it so hard for us to know what we want? I don't know. Do you? It is hard. Let's just talk about it. Let me process this out loud with you because it is hard. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that. A couple of reasons that could affect it. Number one, many of us, especially depending on your personality style, we love to please people. If you're a believer, we're called to please others. So sometimes I think we can get in rhythms our whole lives of making other people happy. Like think back even to high school. You know, there was a group of people you wanted to impress. Maybe it was the cool kids. Maybe it was just your friend group. You wanted to wear the right brands, the right clothes. Like you care so much about what other people think of you in middle school and high school. And rightly so, because kids are mean, right? Like you didn't want to be the one that's picked on. So we get in these habits early on in adolescence of like keeping up and pleasing people and doing the right thing and making sure that we fit in and everybody's happy with us. Well, then you fast forward to adulthood and we want to, get the right job and date the right people. And so there's an element of performance. There's an element of we wear this mask, right? Of like I want to be what other people want me to be. And at some point, hopefully, we mature out of that in a healthy way where we are true to ourselves and also socially appropriate, right? Like there's a balance of both. But I do think that so often we can get in habits that shape how we live that we don't know how to live any other way. Let me give you an example. I remember speaking at Purdue University. This was years ago, probably 11 years ago, one of my very first speaking events as a professional speaker. And I spoke on life balance. Clearly, this message has been in me for a very long time. And I remember a woman walked up to me and she had tears in her eyes and she said, I want to do what you're saying. I want to live for my values and what's important to me, but I don't even know what that is. It has been so long since I have even considered myself that I don't know how to. Now, I think in her case, it would be more like mine or anybody else that's a little bit older where life can just kind of make you forget what you want. Certainly becoming a parent can make you forget what you want because what you want doesn't really matter a lot of times because you are responsible for feeding those children and keeping up with all of their needs. And so whether it's ingrained in us from an early age, we had parents maybe in our household that we had to perform for and be good for and do all the right things, keeping up with kids in high school. Maybe it's becoming a parent and you just are so busy keeping up with your children and all of their unending needs. Just this morning, y'all, my son at, I kid you not, 6:15 was yelling for blueberries. I was like, how can you want blueberries at 6:15 in the morning? Like I have barely opened my eyes and I'm getting screamed at for blueberries. So like you're so used to running around for these little dictators in tiny bodies that have all these needs. Maybe it's that. But regardless of what it is, it could even be a job, where it's like you have to work all the time and what you want isn't really considered. I think it can be a variety of factors that contribute to us losing sight of what we want and more than that, who we are, because there is such a connection between who we are and the desires of our heart. But I think it can also even affect our ability to understand and discern God's will for our life. It can affect our ability to even be in touch with the desires that God is placing in us and the flames that He is trying to fan to move us in the direction that He wants us to go because we are so busy running ourselves ragged, keeping up with everyone else, keeping up with Instagram's standards or our relationships' expectations of us and the day-to-day grind and the responsibilities that we miss. We lose touch with what we want. And I would say a direct connection with what God wants for us. Sometimes in the moments of quiet and stillness, that's when I feel God speak to me. That's when I feel God prompt me. When I slow down to journal, and I don't have an agenda for the journal, and no one's going to see the journal, but I just write my thoughts. God is invited into that moment. God is invited to those pages where God will show me something that I want that I didn't know I wanted. Where God will show me something He wants for me that I didn't know He wanted for me. And sometimes they're really awesome things, and sometimes they're really scary things. When God told me to go to seminary, I was very scared of that. And I'm loving it. It's hard, but I'm loving it. Psalm 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Of course, we know that God is not a genie in a bottle where you rub the lamp and get whatever you want. But as you delight in him, as you seek him, as you spend time with him in silence and solitude, as you pray, as you shut out all the voices of Instagram, social media, peer pressure, kids screaming for blueberries at 6 a.m., if you can have a moment to shut that out, and you delight in him, and you seek him, he can show you what you want. He will show you what you want. And more than that, he'll show you what he wants for you. And as we know, his plans for us are not only good, they are more than we could ever ask or imagine. So while it's good to think about what you want, and that's a great exercise and a good practice and important to get back in touch with, what's even better is asking God what he wants, because his plans are so much better than our plans. That's a great question. I hope this helps point you in the right direction to figure out what you want and what God wants for you.